welcome back. We are live. I hit record and we're good to go. I'm about, that's the second time I've gotten it right out of 6 so far. So congratulations to me. Before we get started, we are here to talk all things Commanders, as you should know by now by the title and all the things that you will see before we start. But I want to take a minute and say I have not decided how these are going to release yet. So I don't, whatever, and whatever we talk about, this is between week 17 and before week 18. So if any like unfortunate injuries happen or anything crazy happens, we will not talk about it in this
We're
episode.
not gonna get
So,
into that at all.
yeah,
We're not gonna wish that.
exactly. So like, don't ask why we didn't talk about it because it didn't happen yet. So we are going to talk about all the wins and all the great things that happen with the Commanders this year. I think new coach, rookie quarterback. I was very active in making sure that I was paying attention to what was happening with the Commanders this year. And this might sound really ridiculous, but the biggest game for me at the beginning of the season, I was like, I wanted to see the Commanders play the Giants because in my mind, those were the two teams that I thought were going to kind of be at the bottom. And I was like, who's going to be better? And I think it was like week 3 or week 4. And it was in that moment where I was like,
week 2.
Yeah, I was like, I think the Commanders might have something here because anyways, so great season. So how are you feeling about the season overall? What are your thoughts? How do you feel that you all did this year?
Oh, that's a great question. So, for me, this year was everything about developing Jayden Daniels.
Yeah.
It was kind of I took it more as like year 0 for the new regime, new owner, new front office. The GM actually made over 24, 25 signings. The roster had been completely transformed in one off season. However, when you've got a team that was 4-13 last season, you've got holes all over the field.
Everywhere. Yeah.
So we didn't think that those signings would essentially, create a good roster per se. But we did think that we'd be a lot more competitive. So sitting here at 11-5 with a chance to go 12-5 this weekend, I definitely feel like we're ahead of schedule.
Yep.
And it allows I know for me, I can't speak for everyone, but it does allow for us to kind of sit back, relax, and kind of enjoy where this goes. And that's kind of where I've been at throughout the entire season. Yes, you've had your ups and downs and things of that nature. And as a fan, naturally, you can put yourself in a position where you begin to have expectations. And when they're not met
Yeah.
in certain situations, it's like, well, how come you're not doing this? But then
Yeah.
you always got to regroup and say, well, you know what? We're still not
Right.
where
We're not
we
quite
should.
great. Yeah. I
Yeah.
deal with that with the Steelers. I'm like, this is rebuilding for the Steelers, although we don't want to call it rebuilding. And so I have to realize like we're not going to win every game. It's just
Mhm.
the way we lose sometimes. I'm like, why do we do that? But then I'm like, well, because we need more corners. So of course we're going to lose that way. But I get you. It's frustrating because you're like, but, and then you're like, well, yeah, but
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah. So
Close wins, they kind of tear you apart a little bit because you stressed out more than you thought you
yeah.
should, and then close losses are like, man, we should have had that, but it's like level set, level set. We're not really supposed to be here yet, so this is fine.
Yeah. And I will say, I mean, you guys figured out probably the biggest problem most teams has is quarterback. At least you got your guy. And
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, and he's new, you know what I mean? He's still got 4 years until you have to pay him. So there's a lot of time like I always like I think so much pressure is made on the quarterback to get it right, to get it right, to get it right. And some people overreach and then it fails and then you're, whatever. And the Commanders got it right. Like I said, new coach, new ownership, new everything. And they figured it out. So it's just like, what is everybody else doing?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what?
yeah, yeah,
Sometimes it makes
yeah.
you wonder.
This rookie class was really weird because 6 quarterbacks were taken in the first 11 picks,
Yeah.
and for all intents and purposes, every rookie has shown flashes, other than JJ McCarthy and his injuries. Every rookie has actually shown flashes.
I
Michael
agree.
Penix Jr. is going to be very good for Atlanta. So
I
you just
know.
go in
Atlanta
and try.
screwed up that whole thing. Oh my gosh. Anyways,
Yeah, the
they
whole Kirk Cousins
reached.
and
I know they reached for Kirk. They panicked, and then yeah, all that money. That's it's going to be a costly. It's going to cost them a lot of money to fix that mistake.
oh yeah, Kirk is more than he is perfectly fine sitting there cheerleading on the
Yeah,
sidelines
I would be
collecting
too. I would be
eighty
like, way to
million
go,
dollar checks right now.
way to go, guys. That's okay. Get him next
Yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah. Go team,
Yeah,
go!
that's
Right? I
it.
mean, that's
I'd be. You want
honestly
a
what.
towel? You want some water? Yeah.
Yeah,
Hold on one
whatever you
second.
need, whatever
Whatever
you
you
need.
need. So, what surprised you about this year? I told you before we hit record. My surprise this year was Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner actually. So when I saw that happen, that was the moment where I thought, oh, if this works, because I'm a Steelers girl, so I know the middle of your defense has to be good for anything else to work. So when I saw that, I thought that gives them leadership with a coach he's played for before. If he still got it, they're going to be okay. How do you feel? Like, what surprised you the most this year?
So coincidentally, Bobby Wagner for me was not a surprise, and the reason why was because we've had a guy here before, London Fletcher,
Mm,
who had come over from spending time with the Rams, and we kind of got him. I would say, if we're being realistic, kind of got him towards the end of his career. He
mm-hmm.
was kind of winding things down, and that's not to say that's where Bobby Wagner is right now, but you know, seeing someone who has been productive throughout their entire career, regardless of age, I kind of felt that, once Bobby got his legs under him and got into the system, that he would still actually do really, really well
Yeah,
in this defensive scheme. And he's
nice.
done that.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Pro Bowl alternate now. So he's the first alternate. So if someone can't make it, he's going to be one of the first people to be added to that roster as well. So I mean, he's had an All Pro season. So I'm really not
Mm-hmm.
surprised too much about Bobby Wagner. I will say the one thing that I have been surprised with is the maturation of Jayden Daniels. Now, and there's going to be a theme this entire conversation, and it's going to be surrounded around Jayden Daniels. But you'll notice that, as I mentioned, Jayden Daniels, it'll be his impact on the rest of the roster as well. I
Yeah.
think if there's anything that I can say that I'm surprised about with regards to Jayden Daniels, is how quickly he's kind of adapted to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing looks too fast for him.
Right.
Um, and rookies struggle, right? I mean, you guys jettisoned the rookie last season in Kenny Pickett. Um, Kenny Smallhands Pickett, we like to call
Yeah.
him in our circles. And I mean, it felt like when you guys got him that it was kind of a reach
It
in
was
the
a
first
reach.
place.
It was some
Um,
desperation.
yeah, and because you guys haven't had an issue. Like you guys can recalibrate every single season. Mike Tomlin, that's the good noops. So respect to my
Yeah.
frat brother out there. Um, love Mike Tomlin. He has been the picture of just complete and utter just competition every year,
Yep.
winning every year by any means necessary. I don't know how sometimes the Steelers can win games, and there's seven
Well,
to six. It'll get
and
done.
I
We'll
think,
find a way to
well, I
win.
think it makes us, well, and the problem is too, is when you're used to winning, you forget that some year, like you think every year you're good. And just because you
Yeah,
win games doesn't mean you're good necessarily. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like sometimes you have really good coaching and players executed or the other team was awful. For example, the first time we played the Ravens, they were terrible. So we won. So, so it's like, I think that sometimes
I
as
had
fans,
Lamar
we're
in a
like,
blender.
yeah, we're like, we won the game. And so we're good. And it's like, but are we? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's how I feel.
Yeah, I
But
mean, but see, when you have that type of situation, then every year, you know, all you need if your quarterback play is a little up and down,
yeah,
even next year, right? You guys might decide to move on from Russ, and when that happens, there's going to be a bevy of quarterbacks at your disposal. Do you all will be in the playoffs, so it won't be a situation where you can draft somebody
Yeah.
high. But Kirk will be available. Neither here nor there. I'm
No
only
thanks.
mentioning that in that, like, when you guys expect that every year. For us, Jayden getting attached to and not being in a position where he's had to really stress out so much, throughout this entire season has been incredible.
Yeah,
And
I could see that.
a lot of times, when people talk about Jayden, we talk about the fact that he's had um, he's had a lot of years, a lot of experience
In
in
college,
college,
yeah.
which typically is a good thing. But we've also
Hmm.
seen quarterbacks who've had a bunch of experience in college come into the NFL and it's still too fast and they still, fizzle out at the end of the day. So, for him, the moment's never too big. Um, and I think after the bye week, we kind of just, went with the phrase of let Jayden cook. And although he's kind of willing this this team of mid to mediocre players for
Yeah.
the most part, we've got a couple of people. I'm not gonna poo poo on the entire
So
team.
let's
We
talk.
got
So let's
some.
talk. What is your strength? Like when first. So the one thing I like about the NFL playoffs is I feel like it brings in all the fans that either just love football. Let's be honest, that will bet on football. That are doing all the
Of
things,
course, of
but
course.
also it brings in the fans from other teams that were so focused on their teams that they don't
Hmm.
even know what these other teams are going to do. So this is going to basically be a brand new season because a
Yeah.
lot of people don't know the goods, the bads, or anything about these teams. So, what would you say as a fan of the Commanders? Like, what is something that we should know that you feel like is a strength of your team?
I think the strength of our team, I'm gonna go a little different because again, a lot of it's gonna be tied to Jayden.
I
Obviously the quarterback position is a strength. I'm gonna say our intangibles, I would
I
say,
agree with
and the reason why I'm gonna say that is because we don't necessarily, if I say offense, it's gonna be tied to Jayden. Um, our defense is not a strength, so I can't put that out there. We're actually top 10 in the league in defense, but we stink at the run. And
that. Okay.
and if that, and as the season has kind of progressed, um, the holes that we have on this roster have been more exposed.
Yeah.
Cornerback play, Marshawn Lattimore hasn't been healthy, and Benjamin St. Juice is Benjamin St. Juice.
Was he from
Alone.
the? He was from the trade. He still hasn't been healthy. Lattimore.
So, Marshawn has, yeah. When we traded for him, he came in. He played against the Saints.
Okay.
He had missed the first 3 games. I think we had the bye week as well. But he came in. We were able to kind of get him some burn against the Saints. And then the Eagles game, we had a couple of things go down with him and AJ Brown. Um, but ultimately, he left that game and he hasn't been back since.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
So he should be ready to go next week, wherever we end up in the playoffs. But still, that move was more of a next season move than a
Okay.
this year move because he's
That's
got the
fair.
hamstring, and that's going to take some time to really fully heal. So we
Yeah.
can't call the defense a strength, even though they are kind of top 10, top 12 in the league overall. Um, Special teams is pretty good. I mean, they've been kind of hovering around the middle of the pack as well.
How's you all's kicker?
That is a weakness.
Okay.
Which kicker is it going to be? Is the question.
Mm,
Yeah, so we've had a couple of people. It's been a revolving door with regards to the kicker.
okay.
Unfortunately, we had we had signed Brandon McManus at the beginning of the off season, and then he had the issue with I think it was domestic violence, legal issues.
Oh, right. 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 Uh huh.
Yeah, and now that honestly turned out to be false. He was acquitted of everything,
Yeah.
and now he's doing really really well for Green Bay right now. But what that did was it kind of put us in a bad spot with the kicker having to be jettisoned at the very beginning of the offseason, and then you got to figure out a way to, you know, find something off the street, right? Well, every team's already got a guy, and you got to find something off the street that's going to be able to kick in good games for you. And the kicking game has been pretty bad. So it really has been Jayden and love this entire year. We've bandaged and kind of cobbled together a roster that has been able to, play above their heads
Yeah.
this
Well,
entire
that's
season.
coaching. That's good coaching.
That's
Good
good
coaching.
coaching. That is
That's good
definitely good
coaching.
coaching.
So, and you said some of your weaknesses about like stopping the run, kicking game. Makes sense. Is there, having said all of that, are there any teams that you're looking at and you're like, "Ooh, I hope we can avoid them." Like, I
No,
hope. Okay,
no.
so
Here's the
there's
thing.
not anybody that you think matches up really well with you all.
Here's the thing. I take on the moniker of anybody, anytime, anywhere.
Okay,
And DQ came in and said that it's written all over Ashburn right now, all over the facility. Anybody, anytime, anywhere. Um, are there preferred matchups? Yes. I mean, you definitely. Me personally, I feel like the playoffs is an opportunity to play a team you've never played before,
true.
and for me, that's the Rams. Um, so it's not so much, oh my goodness, the Rams present, a challenge that I think we're able to take on. I'm more looking at them like, we haven't played them this year. I'd like to see what Jayden would do in a situation where he goes back home. He's in the dome. He doesn't have to worry about the elements being a
Mm,
factor in this playoff game. You know, it's looking like it's going to end up being Tampa Bay. We played them before. I love the running back from the week 1 game that we had against them. So um, I'm not afraid of any team. I'm not thinking matchups either. I think again, when you look at the season as a whole and you look at kind of where you are right now, um, everything is a bonus this
yeah,
year. Everything
yeah.
is a bonus
You're
this
ahead of
year.
schedule.
We are way ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
So
Did you guys didn't play anybody in the NFC North this whole season, right? Did I?
we played the Bears. That was
Oh
that
wow.
miraculous the
The
Hail
Bears.
Mary.
Yeah.
That's what that was. The miraculous
Okay.
Hail Mary.
Yeah, because I know there's a couple of teams. There's a couple of people that I'm talking to that I was kind of looking at their schedules, and I was like, a lot of teams, in a weird way, haven't played the NFC North this year, which is interesting, but whatever. Um, the Hail Mary game, what a game! And then I know, obviously, we played you guys this year, and I haven't seen that offense since. Well, I've seen it a couple of times, but not often. So there's that. So. Okay, so dream with me here for a second. So we are 3 minutes after the Super Bowl has ended, and the Commanders have just won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And I get on the phone with you and I say, "Oh my gosh, Maurice, can you believe it? They did it! Woo!" And I say, "What do you think the reason? What would you tell me the reason was that they won the Super Bowl?"
I told you, it's gonna be a consistent theme. It's Jayden Daniels. There's the one thing that we can say this season, all fans, um, is that when you got 5, you got a chance.
Yeah,
That's just really only
I'm
what
so glad for him, man.
he's so good. I mean, like he's so good and he's so humble. That's the thing. He's not, you know, if you look at some of the videos during the game that they posted, um, Jayden, after he threw that touchdown to Zach Ertz to clinch the playoff berth, he was he was just like business as usual. The
Good,
job's not done.
good.
And one of my favorite basketball players, rest his soul, Kobe Bryant, he was the exact same way. The greats,
Yeah,
when you're great, there's just something that exudes out of you that you don't. It's all about winning. It's all about
hmm
like 100%. The win is more important than anything. It's more important than individual accolades. How we get there, if I look good, that's great. But I'm not trying to look good for us to win.
right.
That's a different mindset and mentality that that some people just don't have, and only the great ones have it. And that's why Jayden is one of one. He's
Yeah,
just I can already see that he's gonna be just one of one. And for us to go through what we've gone through for so long at the quarterback position, we deserve it. Honestly, I don't
yeah,
think if there's any fan base deserves anything, we deserve what we're getting right now with Jayden Daniels.
yeah.
We deserve it.
I always say you guys deserve your Lions moment. because the Lions
Absolutely.
kind of went through that for a while, and then it's like, oh, okay, here we go. So
Absolutely.
is there any teams, and this will be my last question, then I'll kind of open up for you to tell us anything you want to about the Commanders.
Mhm.
Are there any teams that you want to see that you like? Who would be your perfect Super Bowl?
Mm. Am I including the Commanders in this Super
Yeah,
Bowl?
like, well, I
Oh,
hope that it's somewhere
yeah,
in your mind you say
absolutely.
Commanders and
I thought you were more just like a sports fan thing.
no,
No,
no, no, no, just like
no. As my perfect Super Bowl, I honestly want to see the Ravens again. Um,
ooh, okay.
a Beltway Super Bowl because the area would be. This area would probably be. I mean, I don't know if we've had a situation that kind of.
For those
Brought,
that don't know, can you tell people how close that is?
okay, so um, I live in Hyattsville right now, which is not too far from BW Parkway. The stadium itself is on 495, which is the Beltway, what we call that here. If you go up 295, which is BW Parkway, that goes straight into M&T Bank Stadium. From a distance traveled, time traveled, it's probably stadium to stadium, 45 minutes, maybe 50, depending on how the traffic is.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got lost once and
they're
ran
literally
into
up the road, up the
yeah,
road.
I took a wrong turn once and I was like, I'm never gonna get there. And I had went the wrong way. And
Did
I
you take a
ran
wrong turn
into
in
Ravens.
Baltimore?
I was up, so we were going to see like the White House. You know how people do go see the White
Oh yeah,
House and all
yeah.
the things.
Hmm.
And I wanted to just like explore, but I went the wrong way. And I ran into, but I was driving for a while. And, I didn't think the GPS knew that I should have made that one turn. I was like, no, I'm not going to turn there. And then I
Hmm.
was like, is that a football stadium? Like, where am I? And I didn't know it was Baltimore's
Hmm.
football stadium. That was what threw me off because I was like, was I driving for that long? And it was
Yeah.
fine. I mean, I went to go see is it called Candlestick? Baltimore's baseball
Oh,
stadium.
Camden
Anyways,
Yards. Hmm.
Camden Yard. Yeah, yeah. So
Hmm.
so anyways, but again, I didn't realize how close it was until I actually experienced it. And so I was like, oh my gosh, do people know that these places, I'm in Texas, nothing is that close here.
You know.
Like,
No.
you don't just randomly drive for a little bit and run into another city. It's not
Yeah,
going to happen.
it's
So,
really, there it's not inconceivable that you know if you needed if you went to the wrong stadium, that you'll still make it on time at the next
for the
stadium.
other one.
If you go the other way,
Yeah.
it's that close to each other. So
Okay, cool. I love that. So, is there anything else? Good old Baltimore. I'm a Steelers fan, but I cheer for Lamar Jackson, and man, I want him to go to the Super Bowl so bad.
I will always
Like,
love Lamar Jackson.
I catch myself in the playoffs. I'm like, come on, Lamar, make the throw, and I'm like, I hate this team. Go,
Yeah, come on,
Lamar.
Lamar, make the throw, but not on us. Just make the throw. Just somehow,
It's
some way.
very
No,
stressful. It's a very stressful experience. So is there anything you want us to know about the Commanders as we wind this down that you just want us to know? Because like I said, new fans are going to be watching. And I'm one of those people that thinks that a lot of new fans
mhm.
comes from the playoffs because a lot of fans make the decision this playoff season, like my team sucks. We're never going to be in the
I'm gonna
playoffs.
find a
Forget
team.
this. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm jumping
mhm.
ship. Like I'm leaving this and I'm going to the next team. Is
Yeah.
there anybody or is there anything that you like want those fans to know as they come and invade
I
your
do.
fandom?
I do. Don't believe Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants fans about what they say about us. And the reason why I say that is because we aren't supposed to be good in the
Yeah,
grand scheme of
true.
things. And the longer we stay down, the more they can continue to beat us down. And all we've done every single season is say, well, you know what? We'll get you one time. You know what? We're gonna get you. You know what? We're gonna be in it at some point. You know what? Wait till we do this. Wait till we do that. We've been saying this for years. Now we're good. And now all of a sudden they're saying, oh, the Commanders are the most, you know, arrogant fan base. And I'm like, well, wait,
Really?
no. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Eagles fans have still been in my mentions on Twitter since we beat them 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, like how can anybody get mad at Commanders? Like I've never heard that
because we're
before. That's
supposed to
wild.
be bad. And the fact
Yeah.
that we're good because you've awakened the sleeping giant, right? I mean, a lot of the fans, and understandably so, had gone on for so long, and it really affected them mentally, physically. Um, we've been so bad for so long. We had, he who will not be named run the show for the longest time, and put absolutely no resources into the team
Yeah,
whatsoever.
that was just terrible. Malpractice.
Absolutely none, right? Piss poor stadium experience, everything. Just uh, we've gone through it. We've really gone through it, and even with everything that we've gone through, fans of other teams have literally tried to make it seem as though if we get excited about a win, that it's our Super Bowl, right? Oh, they beat the vaunted Eagles. It's our Super Bowl.
The fault.
Oh, we swept the Giants. Oh, that's your Super Bowl. No, no, these
You,
are teams that the NFL wants to be good every single season. When you think about the NFCs, the Washington Commanders at the bottom
yeah,
every single,
always.
because
Yeah.
the Giants are the Giants, the New York market. The Cowboys are America's team, and the Eagles, Rocky, right? I mean, everything about the NFL is all of those three fan bases. So when we're good, we interrupt everything that's supposed to be going on. We break the cycle when we're
Hmm.
good. We break the cycle when we're good.
You're making a good point.
And
I
and that's
never
the
thought of
thing.
it that way.
It is when you're in it, you can see it. When you're on the outside, and you see us. Most of us fight back when it comes to our team. It's not that we go out with bravado. We don't pump
Yeah.
our chest out. We don't say, "Oh
No.
yeah, we did this." Da, 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 da. No, we're fighting back because somebody
Right.
said the Bears have been in our mentions all year. If you all hadn't completed the Hail
Why?
Mary, this could be a different. Why are we still talking about this?
Yeah. Like they're so bad. They have other issues.
They've lost every single game since then.
They're so bad. Like that's a listen. That's a whole different
Whole
conversation
other
for another
story.
day.
But
Yeah.
they've lost every
I
game.
do have a random question I just thought about. How does
Yeah.
it feel being winning with Dan Campbell since he came from the Cowboys?
Well, Dan Quinn, DQ.
Dan Quinn. Why did
Yeah,
I say Dan Campbell?
because he wants to bite people's kneecaps. He's a great guy, though. He's a great guy. How's it feel winning with DQ? DQ has been a breath of fresh air. And at the beginning of the season, I will say this: I did not want DQ on my team. I didn't. I felt like we needed a new voice, not a retread.
Okay.
Ben Johnson was the guy that I wanted,
Yeah. He's
and
gonna be a hot ticket, man.
he is. But I'm concerned about his ability to lead, especially when he canceled while the team was on a flight on their way to go to meet with him and Aaron Glenn. Um, he sent them a cancellation, basically was like, "Well, I'm gonna stick here in Detroit."
Gonna stay.
And,
Yeah.
and you can do whatever you want to do, no question about it. Nobody is knocking him for his decision, but the way he went about it, I think that kind of goes more to your character than anything else. So I'm kind of glad we dodged that bullet. Personally, he might end up still being good, all
Yeah.
things
You just
considered.
never know.
But you know, I was not a huge fan. I thought, I don't know. I felt like we just had Ron Rivera. Are we looking at a situation where it's like Ron Rivera Part Two?
Right. That's what I was worried about that. Because they're both defensive guys. They're both yeah, I was worried about that too.
And it was really unfair of me to think that, honestly. He is the antithesis of Ron Rivera.
He's not Ron Rivera.
He
Yeah,
is far from Ron Rivera.
I agree.
He is honestly the best thing that has happened to this team, other than Jayden Daniels and AP, Adam Peters. I mean, um, he is what he's the glue that puts all of this together.
Good.
So
Good. I'm glad he's loved and appreciated too, so that helps.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
like I love doing this. I love collaborating with people about their teams and just getting their insights because like I said, I watch a ton of football, but sometimes I watch football with no context, meaning like, oh, he wasn't even supposed to be the guy. Oh, he beat out the guy in the training camp? Really? Or just like different things about like we played you all this year, but that was so long ago. I didn't remember anything about the run defense, but now that I think about it, that kind of tracks. So there's just like a lot of things. And I think that for me, at least for me, when I watch these teams play in the playoffs, I like to kind of know what I'm watching.
Right.
And sometimes I think some fans just like to watch the game. I'm not like that. I'm like, do I expect them to score on offense? No. Like, for example, if you're watching the Steelers in the playoffs, don't expect them to score points. Just don't. Like,
no, the defense is going to be there.
Set your expectation. Right. Set your expectations. Don't expect us to score points. Expect it to be very dry, basic, hard
black
nosed
and
football.
blue, beat down.
That's all we got. We're
everybody in
be
the ice
aggressive.
bath when the game
now,
is over.
Now, if you want to fight us, we will also fight you. If you want it, like, we'll do all the things, but don't expect points. It's like setting those expectations so we know what we're going to get. So, anyways, I appreciate you doing this. I don't know if my voice has been, I've been trying to drink water and I had tea before this, so I hope my voice has been okay and not gone in and out. I don't think I've once, so I might be on the mend for that. But I appreciate you. For those people that are just wondering, this is our first conversation we've ever had. So thank you for like being willing to talk to me about football. I know like it's kind of weird this day and age, like strangers these days, like don't have their crap together. So I appreciate you just like taking the time, chatting with me. I know you've also had a trying week. So
yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Yeah. So again, you could have canceled and done other things. So like, just thank you for giving me your time. I think there's a lot of things. Time and money are the two things that if anybody gives me their time or gives me their money, I don't care if it's $2 I appreciate it because it's like hard work and things you can't get back. So thank you for that. Hopefully we'll chat again when, I don't know, we'll make it.
We follow each other now, so
yeah, we'll make it happen.
We'll make it happen.
We'll chat
for sure.
Yeah,
I definitely appreciate it though.
Yeah, of course. And I will be cheering for the Commanders. I think I will be honest, and I've been honest with everybody. There's something I feel about the Lions right now, just because I like the zero. Everybody's making fun of them. Nobody likes them. Kind of kids on the block that are now like maybe the team that will win the division. I like the story, but I'm watching the Commanders because I'm very interested to see what they do in the playoffs.
We might end up playing each other in some capacity too.
Yeah.
If things kind of fall, because I'm all over that, by the way. So yeah, things kind of fall. One thing happens, we'll actually end up playing each other.
It will be like me watching Venus and Serena. Like, nice. I won't be cheering for anybody at first, and then whoever starts to lose, then I'll be cheering for them.
Yeah, because you want them to keep going on after the fact.
Yeah. So that's how I play it. But anyways, thank you for coming on. Is there anything you want to say? Anything you want to plug? Just so you know, in the description box of our episode, I will put like your Twitter and all of your information in there. But is there anything else, any shows you do or anything else you want to plug besides your Twitter?
So I don't necessarily have any plugs.
Okay.
I will say, to the Twitter, follow me on Twitter at Conrad Snoop, Coffee Black on Twitter. Yeah. Definitely follow me. On a daily basis, my platform is not just Commanders base. I talk about everything as far as the world is concerned.
Love it.
But about 80% of that content is Commanders related. So
yeah.
I'm a fair fan and I'm a realist. So you're going to get the real, you're going to get the up and the downs, and you're going to get everything from me, but you're going to get very honest assessment of the team when you watch it. So for sure, you can definitely check me out there. I don't know. I'm thinking about some other things for the most part as well. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But I do want to kind of give you props as well for sure. You've been great, all week.
Thanks.
In dealing with what I've been going through. So I definitely I appreciate you for having the patience with me with everything. You're very beautiful. Love everything that you're doing right now. And I definitely wish you the best on everything that you got going on.
Thanks. I accept all good things. Thank you. No, I appreciate you. And there's one thing I learned in life, and it's like, you never know what somebody else is going through. So all you can do is be gracious, and your graciousness will help them not feel so obligated, to do whatever. So if I've helped you in any way, like you're very welcome, because we need more of that. We just need more people to just care. Like It's simple. Just care about other people. Just care about what they're going through. It costs you nothing. It costs you absolutely nothing. and you can help somebody. Like, what a concept in life. Anyways, don't get me started on my tangents. Well, thank you. I appreciate you. And we will collaborate again, I'm sure, on something else in the future.
Absolutely. Happy to be here and happy to help.
Thanks.